For today's video, um, I want to talk about the anime that dropped today, the first episode. And honestly, I saw this poster when I saw this poster over the summer. I was really excited because it was a very anticipated anime show. And this episode 1 showed me or reminded me why, and I'll explain the kind of synopsis. So, it's your typical summoning story. Group of class gets summoned to this world, um, or to be heroes, and their goal is to, I guess, defeat the Demon King on behalf of the royal family or whatever. But what makes this very different is that throughout the episode you see that, and our main character, he realized that there's something wrong. There was a scene where this student, our main character, was walking the halls, present, concealed, invisible pretty much, and he noticed that in the building inside there was a camera monitoring the movements of the heroes, and asked myself, like, why do they have modern technology? Now my theory is that because later in the episode they talk about the first hero, that they summoned, and they realized that these heroes come from the same land. I'm guessing that before this first hero died, he probably left some like innovative technology, so when the kingdom does develop this technology, they could implement it. Now the other question is, what other technology are they hiding in their kingdom, like weapons, nukes, missiles, guns, but our MC notices that it's something very wrong. Why are they monitoring us? Because they summoned us. And throughout the episode, there's a lot of unspoken things that happen. A lot of weird things, like in the archive. So two things specifically happened that tipped the character off, and he was already questioning, like, oh, why are they doing this? But two things tipped off our main character. One was that when he concealed his presence, and he basically eavesdropped in the king's conversation with the princess, and he was like, oh, how are they doing, like checking up on them, and he was like, yeah, make sure they don't go anywhere to in the archives, because if they learn too much, it could be a problem. And so that kind of leads our character to go in the archives, and then we learn that this world is kind of in a hunter x hunter situation, where the humans the humans in this world occupy a very small land, because everything's guarded by demons or monsters or whatever, beasts, elves and beastmen, sorry, but just non-human entities pretty much. And I'm guessing the hope of this king was that he wanted to change that with the summoning of these heroes, in the hopes, like, they defeat and he can expand humanity in his name. Um, of course, there's some people in his ranks that don't think this is a good idea, and one of them happened to be the captain. But, and the captain, helps the kid because, whatever. But going to what the kid, so he discovers truth that there's so much to this world than what the king is being on. And so he kind of like, it's kind of implied that he's gonna travel the world to not only have a bunch of other experiences, but also like to learn like the truth. Because right now it's just the human's truth. He doesn't know the actual truth. Maybe after he visited the elves land, demon land, and the beast folk land, maybe he'll like be able to construct his own version of the truth, or But yeah. Oh, and another thing. So at, during the episode when they were, because the group was tasked to go in a labyrinth to kind of train. So they go in this labyrinth, and as they're walking, the kid, he notices from very far away that this girl, this little like teen girl or whatever, glaring at them with a mean look. And obviously he appears behind her and asks her like, why are you so mad? And she says, do you know what we had to sacrifice in order for you guys to be summoned? And to this, obviously our character says, oh no we don't. And the girl walks off and she says, after you do, come find me, because I feel like our paths are gonna cross a lot. So I feel like that little part is kind of foreshadowing that she's gonna be a huge part of like going back home, I guess, or this huge part of this like coup. Because I think he talked about before heading back, because he does plan on going back. The captain did say, before you go back, because apparently this coup is led by the captain, it seems. He asked the kid, he's like, before you leave, can you help me? Like, help me with the coup in a peaceful manner, because apparently, our character, with the goal of going back home, he doesn't want to be branded as a murderer. He doesn't want the knowledge of he killed someone. So it's like, yeah, I'm an assassin, but I don't kill. That's just a thing now. So it makes it even weirder for the beginning of the episode where he obviously is trying to, we kind of see in the beginning of an episode like a assassin, like where he conducts an assassination on the king. But as he's about to thrust his sword in his neck, that's when the episode cuts. And the episode, so what I just described of him, of his assassination attempt, was in the beginning of the episode. So when the episode snapped, it snapped to like back in their classroom. So I'm kind of confused on that whole thing too. Like he said, I do want to go back to my world, but I don't want to go back as the murderer. But in the beginning, we clearly see him like about to murder someone. So I have a theory, and this is probably a far-fetched because it's still episode 1, but what if the king, the person we see who Akira is about to assassinate, what if he's like some kind of clone, some kind of robot? Because we do know that in this world they do have advanced, the kingdom does have advanced technology. We just don't know which one. So it might be a clone or something. So that's could be like in theory. Like I don't think he's murdering anyone. So I don't know. I just feel like that person that we saw could be like a clone for the king. You know, the robot or a robot clone. But yeah, I would obviously pretty cool first episode. Can't wait for episode 2 when it drops. I think next week, and yeah, I'm very happy for this when it came out because, like I said, I was very anticipated for this show. But I think I'm just getting it. Please go like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.